When the Colorado River Aqueduct was completed in the 1940s, it was accompanied by the first of now 5 Metropolitan Water District filtration plants, the F.E. Weymouth facility in the city of LaVerne. Treated imported water first reached Orange County by the appropriately named Orange County Feeder, a modest 36-inch diameter pipeline stretching from Weymouth and LaVerne down to Santa Ana, which was later extended to Newport Beach. In the 1960s, Orange County got its own filtration plant, the Robert B. Deemer facility in the city of Yorba Linda, and the accompanying pipelines from it range from 60, later up to 115 inches, making the OC feeder sound rather trite by comparison. But nonetheless, it is still an important part of the water infrastructure and is still in use to this day. And I'm going to attempt to bike the entire length of it. Now, I say attempt because parts of it go through private property and I'm not going to trespass. And 2, parts of it I just don't know the exact alignment. There aren't really detailed maps for pipeline right-of-ways available for the general public, but from the maps I've been able to find, from hours in Google Street View, and from just going out in person and seeing the clues, I have been able to map out a lot of these pipes really good. Now, what clues are we looking for? I'm no expert in this field, but I've divided it into 2 categories. There's the stuff, which is any above ground infrastructure indicative of a pipeline nearby, and then there's the blue paint. Whenever they're doing construction, they always mark out the utilities on the ground so people don't accidentally dig into them. Conveniently, water pipelines, they write the agency and the diameter, which makes it easy for us because we know 36 inches in diameter Metropolitan Water District is Orange County Feeder, so that'll make it really easy to track. We're here in this park across the street from the Weymouth facility in LaVerne. Let's go find Orange County Feeder. Here's the entrance right here on Wheeler. There's that really cool Mission Revival architecture in all its glory. And then right here on Wheeler, we got this bike trail. We're gonna follow it down, see if we can find that pipe. Well, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that stands for OC Feeder. And look, they have a train track because they're cool. Yeah, trail. Below it is the OC Feeder. I think we've got our speculation confirmed. From the west side of Wheeler, we cross over diagonally, cutting through somebody's backyard before going under the future A-Line extension, followed by Arrow Highway, where it continues through a business park and under the Metrolink San Bernardino line tracks. Cutting through this business park, it has a devoted right-of-way for a good part of it. Pretty nice. After the business park, it crosses under Puddingstone Drive, and then underneath the airport at Brackett Field, just east of the control tower. To go around Brackett Field, there's this nice trail alongside Fairplex. There's something funny about the stenciling here, and I just can't unsee it. From underneath Brackett Field, we emerge on McKinley, where we continue that away. And I think it goes under the golf course, but you're not going to see me playing golf just to find a water pipeline. Sorry. From the golf course, it goes under Fairplex, continuing on that access road over there. We'll follow it down Fairplex. The pipeline parallels the street to the east, probably supplying the reservoirs next to Coco Palms restaurant. We then catch it crossing Fairplex just before the 10 freeway. It appears the sign is missing. It's right there. Right there in between Starbucks and McDonald's. And onto this street, Murchison. There's also this other pipeline we start seeing here, which I call Power 42, which parallels the OC Feeder up until just after Cal Poly. At the end of Murchison, the pipe continues going straight behind a bunch of industrial buildings, including that new freeway interchange apartment complex that I made fun of in the Shabarm Skyline Trail video. Now, it's quite obvious here that the pipeline was modified from its original course to deviate to avoid going onto the 57 freeway. And it deviates down here to South Campus Drive, then goes under the bridge right here, and then continues over on the other side. Under the bridge, we see the paint. We see the paint continuing this way under some orange trees. I can understand why they didn't want the pipe to go under this monstrosity of a freeway interchange. But anyways, coming up, continuing on towards the Rose Float Lab, and then it continues on the original alignment. Emerging just beside Cal Poly's Rose Float Lab. This must be where Cal Poly Pomona receives imported water. That sign kind of gives it away. Then you just follow it along the street eucalyptus. Passing by the thing the dude from Kellogg's cereals forced Cal Poly to have in order to keep the land. At the end of Eucalyptus Lane, the pipeline crosses under Kellogg Drive and continues southwest through the campus. Oh look, it's the Silver Streak. From that street eucalyptus, between the new dining hall and the residential. After dining hall, it goes across this field where there's some hidden stuff so the soccer players don't trip on it. And then between the gym and the swimming pool. So if you ever wondered why it's so set back from the building, these pipelines. After the gym, it comes up here, crossing under University Drive towards the agricultural stuff. Here we can see some stuff under Cal Poly's agricultural, I believe, the sheep unit. And the pipeline continues, crossing under Temple Avenue, and then it goes up the hill under the Lyle Center for Regenerative Studies. So after the Lyle Center, the pipe continues going around Spadra landfill, and then goes around the corner where there's some reservoirs on the other side. Now the alignment here does suggest the pipe was rerouted so the land could be used for the Spadra landfill. You probably don't want your drinking water going underneath the landfill. From the reservoirs at the top of the hill, the OC feeder enters into the city of Walnut, where they built this nice trail along the pipeline's right-of-way. From the trail, it passes through this vacant lot, continuing on towards Valley. There's your blue paint. I think it cuts right through this stuff right here. From the Snow Creek Shopping Center, it crosses under to the south side of Valley Boulevard, where we continue on to the city of Industry. Quite obviously right here. And then it goes under San Jose Creek. I like how they painted it blue on the fence. From under the creek, it crosses under the Alhambra subdivision, where it cuts over onto the west side of Brea Canyon Road. There's your blue paint. And keep going. Into the city of Industry, which interestingly also passes by Walnut Valley's water district. We pass by the City of Industry Metrolink station and continue on Brea Canyon under the grade separation. The pipe crosses back over to the east side of Brea Canyon, continues under the 60 freeway. And this intersection got all type of stuff. At some point it crosses under the 57. I think it might be right here. We see some stuff on the east side of the 57, continuing into the city of Diamond Bar. The end, Diamond Bar Park and Ride. We then continue on the east side of Brea Canyon, where they give us a nice bike trail down there. So obvious. Continuing on. From the trail, we actually deviate from Brea Canyon for a little bit and then rejoin after Diamond Bar Boulevard. There's your access point hidden behind some bushes. There's the on-ramp. There's your blue paint. And we continue on. Barely make it out, but that would be it right there. There's like a business park pipe going and reconnecting with the trail, continuing over there. MWD OC feeder 36 inches. Yay. You gotta love when they make it really, really obvious. And the trail just unceremoniously ends because the city of Diamond Bar ends. Now exiting the city of Diamond Bar, continue on down Brea Canyon. This is one of those streets that really needs a bike lane, being one of only 3 streets between Orange County and the San Gabriel Valley. But I don't know whose city council to complain in because it goes through unincorporated parts of both counties. Continuing on Brea Canyon, we see the stuff right here. And then underneath the bridge. Yes, crossing the 57 once again. We see lots of stuff on the east side of Brea Canyon. From here the pipe goes up the top of that hill where there's a reservoir. And finally we're making our way into Orange County. From the reservoir we continue on into the city of Brea. At the end of Balsa Avenue, there's an interconnection structure with the 97-inch diameter lower feeder, which travels along Lambert Road here. Yeah, that's right, don't trespass. We then see it crossing under the former Pacific Electric rails on the Tracks Trail, continuing behind this new apartment complex, and then cutting diagonally through the Target shopping center across the street from the Brea Mall. That's Target. Then from Target, I'm not entirely sure what happens next. I'm guessing some big money might have been thrown around to reroute this thing so Embassy Suites could have been built here. Okay, somehow it ends up over here by the parking garage at the mall. Found it again right here, back on the west side. Then as Randolph Avenue ends, the pipe continues due south where it connects with State College Boulevard. Craig Park, State College. Blue paint, obvious blue paint. Partway along State College, it veers off onto a devoted right-of-way through this neighborhood, which I couldn't find. But then it continues crossing Bass and Cherry through the Coyote Hills parallel to the Panorama Trail. In addition to water pipe, we also got oil infrastructure up here in the Coyote Hills. If you're wondering where I filmed that shot for my music video, there you go. The Panorama Trail leads us to Ladera Vista Drive, where we pass by some big houses, leading to our next reservoir. Alright, I found it again. Almost at the reservoir. That would be the reservoir. 10-inch branch to supply the reservoir? Maybe. From here I'm not entirely sure how it gets down this hill, but we rejoin it on Dorothy Lane and Hollydale. Now if what I'm led to believe is true, this is one of the worst alignments along this entire pipeline. It cuts like through a bunch of people's yards. Oh, they didn't. And unfortunately, they did. You'll notice in some of the older neighborhoods they weren't as careful with the placement of the neighborhood over pre-existing pipelines, where the newer trend seems to be aligning the neighborhood itself with the pipeline so it isn't going through people's yards. The neighborhood we passed through in Walnut is a perfect example, and we'll see some more like this in Newport Beach. Here it pops on through to Raymond, and that goes on south for several miles. We continue south past Commonwealth Avenue and cross under the tracks of the BNSF San Bernardino subdivision. It looks like the pipe actually sidesteps the entire grade separation and continues on like that. Now entering Anaheim. Crossing under some train tracks. Continuing past Ornsthorpe. For all the machinists watching, R.L. Stevens, great place to buy tools. Entering into Anaheim, we cross under the 91 freeway. It's past La Palma. I like how they just attached the stop sign halfway onto the vent. That's pretty hilarious. Past Lincoln, there's a 6-inch vent. Raymond now turned into East Street. Santa Ana Street, famous for street running railroads. At East and Vermont, there's an interconnection with the second lower feeder, the 85-inch diameter pipeline that extends from the Deemer plant in Orange County all the way to Long Beach and Torrance. Yes, second lower feeder to OC feeder. We're so smart, they didn't even have to tell us that. Now East Street ends right there at Ball Road, but before that, OC feeder, I believe, cuts through this parking lot and then continues on Lewis. Blue dot, blue dot, blue dot, stripe, 36-inch. That way. We then cross the tracks used by the Amtrak Pacific Surfliner and Metrolink Orange County line. Cerritos Ave. It appears there's a vault right there. Somewhere west OC feeder goes this way, but I forget what street. We then cross more train tracks as we approach Catella. West OC feeder. Here at Catella, OC feeder goes like this, and then west OC feeder comes this way, and it is the interconnection right here. West OC feeder, oh my gosh, we found it. 43 inches in diameter. This one goes like that to West Orange County and then again connects back up with the lower feeder, I believe. This is where OC feeder goes under the 5 freeway. So after the 5, we pass by this dated looking new apartment complex. OC feeder continues on the continuation of Lewis Street. Passing right by the Christ Cathedral, formerly the Crystal Cathedral. Now here's where it gets fun. I think the pipe goes diagonally through the parking lot of the mall that used to be called the Block of Orange. And I think maybe, just maybe, that's why the street up there is called Metropolitan, for the Metropolitan Water District. Yes, from there you can faintly see the paint. And then right over here you got your access, and keep going. Then yeah, more paint. Then it comes out over here next to this tunnel entrance and somehow makes it under the 22. Oh, double bus foamery. Quadruple bus. That's the bus we'll be taking to get back. From under the 22, right there, and then diagonally through this parking lot, and then under the Santa Ana River. But of course, that makes so much sense why there's a gate right here. Gotta give it up for the best bike trail in Orange County. Now, I'm not entirely sure how the alignment goes through Santa Ana right there, but eventually it ends up on Bristol, and then there's a reservoir. Based on this photo from 1947, I have no choice but to believe that the pipeline goes like this. There's some blue paint, I can't really make it out, but there's the reservoir just past Santiago Creek. We'll keep going down Bristol. This might be where it originally ended. Yeah, there's some MWD stuff, so you know we're on track. We follow it south on Bristol for about 5 miles through Santa Ana, which as far as biking infrastructure is concerned, is a bit of a work in progress because parts of it we have nothing, then we have these nice separated bike trail parts, then regular bike lanes, and then back to nothing, so I'm excited to see this thing get better. We also crossed the tracks for the forthcoming OC streetcar, opening next year. There's our first signs of the pipe in a while. Right past Willis. They'll be crossing under the former Pacific Electric tracks on towards Costa Mesa. Passing by South Coast Plaza where I get cut off by this Gillig bus.
Hashtag Gillig gang.
And then on over the 405 freeway. Alright, just crossed the 405. There's some stuff right there. Kind of confused of the alignment in this area because it has to go under the 73 and the 55. Maybe we'll find out. Man, Orange County's Gilligs look really funny in that livery. I think we might have deviated from Bristol because there's stuff right there. Or that's just Mesa Water's import interconnection. We'll keep going on Bristol. Picking back up after the 55 on Bristol, I think it goes under the parking lot of Fletcher Jones Audi because there's some stuff over there. And there's more stuff at the corner of Red Hill right before the street splits. The vegan restaurant went out of business, I'm not really surprised. Here's the aforementioned stuff on Red Hill and Bristol, where we continue on past John Wayne Airport. Yeah, Bristol southbound. Then as Bristol ends, we continue straight along this nice bike trail, where the pipe goes underneath Fletcher Jones's Mercedes parking lot this time, and then on under San Diego Creek, where we enter into Newport Beach. That's probably where it goes underground under the water. There it is right there. Continuing on past Bonita Park, and here's the stuff. It used to be painted red, I believe. It looked weird. Whoa, it grew 3 inches. There's your MWD sign, there's your stuff. We'll continue up this nice trail. Cutting off of the trail right here. Now this is where it gets confusing. On Bison just east of MacArthur, there's some stuff on the north side of the street, which had me thinking the pipe went straight along the same trajectory, but according to the best map I could find, I'm led to believe it actually jogs east on Bison and continues up the canyon. At any rate, this is where I got lost. I stopped by Arroyo Park to fill up some water, where I was looking for the spot where I took this old photo of the stuff at the north end of Bonita Canyon neighborhood, the one with the big line going through it. But I ended up taking a scenic detour up the wrong side of the canyon, but later found it across the street at the sports park. Squashy, how could you lead us down a scenic detour that doesn't lead anywhere? Well, that kind of looks like a reservoir. Whether or not we make it to the actual destination, I need to get back to the bus so I don't miss the last bus. Yeah, it wasn't too far off, I don't think. Yeah, I think it goes through some private community and then continues this way. That was the stuff we just saw. And then over here, there's an entire street corner of stuff. At this point, the research budget for this video has basically run out, but the street corner of stuff appears to be the interconnection between OC feeder and East OC feeder number 2, because around the next street corner we see some blue paint, but it isn't 36 inches, which leads me to believe East OC feeder number 2 cuts through this neighborhood diagonally, going under all these people's driveways, which would explain the progressively increasing driveway length and progressively decreasing backyard size. OC feeder continues south a bit, goes to some reservoir and beyond. Alright, I found one of the reservoirs. What do I win? Surely I must win something, right? Yeah, I need to get the bus. Yes, I found the bus stop. Free garlic toast? Squashy, we did it, or at least we did most of it. We're gonna get the bus. If this bus is on schedule, I'll get there 10 minutes before the last 286. I'm feeling lucky. It's not a Gillick, but it's articulated. Let's go. Alright, this video is over. If you really want to see the buses that I took, go watch the Santa Ana garage sale video.